It's not who we are.
Why don't we start again? Take this back to times we went far away from everything. It's all I need, yeah. So tell me lies, fantasize. We don't need to justify what you need. Ain't hard to find, but you won't find it here. Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are.
Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are, who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. I'm losing my mind in a wave of you. Swept me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling harder than I wanted to. And they say don't go diving in too deep, but I'm already diving in so carelessly. I'm losing my mind in a wave of you. Swept me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling harder than I wanted to. And they say don't go diving in too deep, but I'm already diving in so carelessly. Your tide is getting harder to resist, but I don't mind, honestly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 2 of Tuesday's Arena Clash action here from Gears of War to Rocket League. Back for the spring season of 2020, kicking off 2020 with a hopeful bang. I'm the Eternal J, returning with my partner in crime, Digital Bacon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing quite good, of course. Very excited to get back in the studio. We have got some new faces, of course, joining us this season. If you haven't been following me on Twitter, first of all, what on earth are you doing? Come follow me. It was just up below for a second ago. Secondly, earlier today, I pointed out that we have some new potential champions. The Stratford Spartans, your homeboys, Jay. You finally have a team to be proud of as they look to take on Glasgow. But, of course, we can't forget some of the other faces. We've had new teams like the Bristol Brawlers sign up, and they're looking pretty fierce.
Well, do you know what? Actually, I think that was a great time to actually take a look at some of those teams and who we have to take a look at over the course of the next 6 weeks or so. Let's have a look, see at group number 1. the back part of group number 1 apparently. The Guardians, Lionheart, Spartans, and the Vikings all being in grouped together. I'm not seeing any sign of the Spartans or the Cloud Claymores just yet, but you did say a moment ago that they were the 2 teams that were grouped in, probably the 2 favourites as well. They're the 2 teams that actually could well be the big sort of the big dogs almost. Actually, no, Spartans are there.
Yeah,
so
Spartans are there, and wait for the second half. There is Claymores. We have got 2 killer teams in the same group. Group B or Group 2, however you want to put it. I'm probably quite glad they don't have those 2 Goliaths in there. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to force it, because next week the Claymores do go up against the Spartans.
We have to see that
I'm making sure.
we have to see that.
Yeah,
match.
I'm going to bully Dom a little bit until he lets me do that, so that's good. But yeah, looking at this first group, we also have some great teams like there. We'll be seeing the Spectres up today as well, and they're looking pretty promising as well, so that'd be quite cool. Is there a new team on the block going up against the Vikings, who are a returning team from before? Of course, we got to see them at the HyperX Turbo Clash, and they came in third, quite close, just behind MK and the Claymores.
Let's take a look at Group 2 here, a couple of new ones. And actually, good thing you mentioned MK, because something that you'll see in this next group is that MK are nowhere to be seen. They're not fielding their 2-time championship squad. So, therefore, the Pirates, the Nighthawks, the Smugglers, and the Saints will not have a whole lot of pressure when it comes to the green wall, if you would, of the Arena Clash.
Yeah, but of course, we've seen the Pirates. New team coming on through, of course. They keep swapping in a new side each time. Saints looking pretty good coming out from Cardiff. Nighthawks looking to bolster from last season. And then, of course, Smugglers. I want to say it's going to be an underdog run for them. It has to be. But you look at the rest of this. Like I said, I'm going to point out Brawlers straight there as quite a mighty new hit to the second group.
Oh, the Swarm, the Bears, and the Invincibles will also be rounding out Group 2. So, I mean, just talking about these teams very quickly, I think the Invincibles are not quite as invincible as you might think, Bacon.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have a bit of an up and down season. I expect that as well, coming out from the Bears. And Swarm, they've never had a real promising Rocket League campaign. I mean, we saw them earlier in Gears of War. They were stomping.
Oh, yeah.
But Rocket League just isn't their game, unfortunately.
No, well, we'll see how well they can do as we get to see them take on teams later on down the road. But for today, we do have our first match up for the picking. York Vikings taking on the Sutton Spectres, and you can see these 2 teams that you highlighted a little bit earlier on today. Talking about this match overall, like we've got some of the familiar faces from the York Vikings, Booth and Ace and Submerged. We saw them have a promising amount of chemistry last season. We saw them have a decent sort of improvement as well. I think some of their rankings have actually gone up because we were seeing them sit around that sort of like champ area, but Booth has actually gone up to GC in the last season, so we were really looking at some impressive stuff.
Yeah, some players might blame that on the slow creep up into GC and how all the ranks are slowly moving up, but it's these guys continuously grinding out, improving, using the Arena Clash to its biggest advantage. And right for me, we go already into predictions here, Jay. I'm going to say that the Vikings have my favour because they have that experience from previous seasons, of course. But Sutton, they're a new arena and maybe a new surprise for us.
Well, you know what they say. Sorry, actually, I've completely forgotten.
What do they say? The eternal J.
I was going to have. It's
me.
the honeymoon phase. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
it's the honeymoon phase, is what it is right now for that particular side. The fact that they have such a, such a new sort of environment to play from, and the fact that they've got everything that goes for them at the moment. Like, I'm really excited to see what the Sutton guys can do. So, obviously a lot of expectations up on that side. A lot of potential, as you mentioned, with the brand new arena, the brand new team. We'll see whether or not they hold their own. I think, Bacon, as we're almost ready to get into the game here. You mentioned York to take the victory. Who do you think? Oh, sorry. What do you think the scoreline's going to be at?
I'm going to go with it being quite a long, lengthy one. Like, last season was a lot of 3-0s. Let's say that this season completely flips on its heads, and we get a 3-2 here in favour of the York.
All right, well, let's find out whether or not the York guys will be tested as we go into game number 1. York over on the white side of the field. In the purple colours is Ace out to the corner to try and start things off here. Challenged by Fruits of his own right, going up 2 players, going to double commit. This leaves a bit of an open gap. Fruits does get back in time though, and there's no punishment coming in from the Spectres side early on here.
Just quickly changing around those headers, of course. right now it's interesting. A lot of back and forth. These two teams, it is the first game of the season, Jay. They're going to be doing a lot of feeling out. They just want to make sure that they're not overcommitted. But look at Ace there. Good save from Inertia and a brilliant follow-up from Booth. Great pressure being put on from York.
Blaze it on the clock, and the Vikings will sail across the seas and off the crossbar into the back of the net for Booth. Obviously, one of my men to watch for this particular team, so they get things off on the right foot, as you mentioned. A couple of awkward defensives coming in from the Sutton Spectres side as well, so something to keep your eyes on in that back line. Those double commits could start looking a bit dangerous. Brutes, nice challenge on towards the last man here. Open chances, but that big boomer coming through directly on target. Pass back and forth between the Spectre side as they look for midfield dominance and try and get this over to the white half.
Yeah, I was talking to Booth in the off-season a little bit and made a bit of a dare with him. He's got to make top 4 this season, of course. Unfortunate seedings, I guess, going into last season. They got knocked out in the round of 8, the first round of the playoffs. But this season, I've dared him, and he has accepted the challenge. They've got to make top 4, York. And again, like we said, the competition has got a lot tougher this season, so it's going to be a hard task, especially since you look at Sutton here. They are really holding up their own, aren't they?
Yeah, holding their own is right. Getting a couple of decent opportunities here against the York Vikings, but that demo coming in from Submerged could leave Booth with a decent dunk down opportunity. Ace swings in, Submerged also here to try and receive it off the crossbar, right on the line. It just goes past it. 2-0 for the Vikings.
Yeah, you're starting to see a little bit of panicky defense. See that from No Sense. Just moving off to the side. Inertia getting beaten to the ball. And then Prutes, again, that panic into net. You could see what he wanted to do, pop the ball up high. But that ain't going to work. That ain't going to happen. They need to calm down. And again, this is what we were talking earlier about the experience, cheeky little kickoff, and how where Sutton are coming into this. This could be their first competitive experience. I can't recognise the names from any online tournaments, but this could be their first time really at a crack in the competitive esports environment, and that, for me, is what the Arena Clash is all about.
To hold your own in this kind of respect is a brilliant start for the Spectres side from this corner. Brutes leaves this one for No Sense, and actually Submerged looked like he whiffed that particular touch. A little bit of pacing issues coming in as the Vikings do lose a single goal on their lead.
Yeah, you saw Submerged slowed in the center purely because he didn't read the bounce correctly. He probably thought it was going to hit right into the curvature between the ground and the wall and then roll off. So he's trying to set himself up to be able to follow on the ground. It bounced and he got completely caught off guard.
Sideboard bounce from Booth. He's going to look for his shot, just pushed away by Inertia here. There's No Sense. This one off to the midfield. Now it's York Vikings here with the majority of the pressure now in the purple half. To the backboard, Ace going to look for his shot. We're going to have to take this off to the side. It's the 2 teammates caught in rotation, but once again, Brutes and Inertia can't respond and punish them here. All goes out towards that corner. Ace and Submerged again going to try and contest him. The 100 boost is stolen by Submerged, but he's going to use that to get back into the defensive rotations. York Vikings go up. Inertia does challenge. 60 points to his name. Down on towards the floor crease, and Brutes will also try and respond, set up the offensive play. But off the back of that touch, there's no further action from the Spectres. A double commit there from Inertia, and another will leave this ball pretty open. But again, the Vikings unable to maintain control and unable to punish. Booth does go in for a decent shot. Brutes is there to save.
Yeah, one thing that I'm noticing from Sutton is that they've really got to work on their boost management. Right now, Inertia on the ball has got nothing. Brutes did come in to help him one out, but Brutes also took the boost. It means Inertia goes back in defense and can't do anything.
Booth will reinstate the 2-goal lead here for the Vikings team. This one off, looking like he was going to follow it. No Sense saw him coming and tried to act against it, but Booth smartly not going straight up for the commitment. The Vikings will be up 3-1 as a result here. The ball up and inland, Submerged and Ace are going to commit in the offensive as Brutes moves forward. No Sense moves up all the same. They can't quite seem to get those challenges again. Just a little bit of back and forth control between the Spectres and the Vikings. Brutes takes this one up. 1 point of boost, so can't carry this forward on the offense. Going to have to rely on Inertia here. He tees this one close to the box. No Sense comes in with a strike. Second touch is going to go a bit too far wide, so Submerged, even though the defensive looked awkward initially, coming up to the follow-up, it looks pretty decent.
Yeah, we have to point out as well, this is quite a mismatched ranked team. We look at Icon and Prutes. along with Inertia, they're all that much higher champ rankings, and then here they're fielding No Sense, who is Diamond 2. So No Sense is trying to find his place, trying to get up to the level of play. That's why I can see he's got a decent level of the mental knowledge, but those mechanics are just slightly lacking in comparison to his competition.
40 seconds for him to pick up the slack, and for the Spectres to try and turn a 2-goal lead away from the Vikings side. They have got a pretty decent amount of control here in the white half, but outside of the boxes as far as the ball will remain, as this ball back over to Booth's control. 49 points to his name, and we'll move forward again, just pinching it off the ceiling crease. At this point, doesn't matter if the Vikings get a good offensive, just stall for time and take the easy win. Inertia going to try and change that good challenge from Ace. No Sense. Back over again, Submerge puts it close to the backboard, and the clear from Inertia is not going to be looking very confident. No boost to boom it, and again the Vikings can just take control. At this point it's game over for the Spectres. Vikings going to take their first game and the first game of the Arena Clash spring season.
Yeah, looking at this right now, the big things to take away, Spectres try and get this ball under your control a little bit more. They're trying to run before they can walk, Jay. Saw that hit from No Sense in the corner. Just keep that control to you. Dribble it up to the corner, take it to the wall, keep it close. Near enough bear hug the ball, because that way you're going to be able to try and force a 50-50, slow it down and allow teammates to rotate into position or be an option to pass on to. Like, too often they were just banging this off the wall, and that meant they were just handing the ball on over to York, who, well, they're just going to take him. Thank you for it, you know?
Yeah, a lot of the times I feel like the control wasn't quite there from the Sutton side. You know, the Vikings certainly had a majority of sort of, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, you know, sort of the mechanical prowess is still there, because while the average sort of while the higher sort of ranks are there on the Sutton team, the York Vikings very clearly have the average, the more average sort of spread. So, like, you know, the overall rank might be lower, but, you know, they've still got a lot of synergy together. They've still got a lot of, like, general skill, and they're matching pace pretty well. Yeah,
and that's why we rank York a little bit higher than Sutton here, is purely because they do have that synergy. They've got that team chemistry. They know how to play together. Whereas, of course, Sutton, as typical with the Arena Clash, are a couple, 3 different guys coming on together, finally playing for the first time together in their arena, and so they are going to have to build that chemistry as the season goes on. Things do look promising, but of course they're going up against York, who are a devastated team with what a banger from Booth.
What an initial shot from Ace. You saw how close that ball was getting. If it was a little bit further out, that would have been in of its own right. I don't think Spectres could have saved it, but Booth, though, a rookie mistake from the purple half, able to bait out the defensive for the moment and find a nice open net.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with that run before they could walk. One man needed to be back towards net instead of all 3 pushing out. They left that gap open, and it was pretty much a free goal for Booth to score upon.
The Vikings, ball into the midfield. Submerge going to miss out his touch. Booth also does so as well. There's a lot of breathing room. Big misses coming in from everybody on the Spectres side, and Booth once again with a whiff. Oh, what was that? Vikings and Spectres whiff central for the last 20 seconds, but in the end, York come out on top.
Absolute scenes on Wasteland right now. So the second goal for York Vikings is probably one which both Sutton and York will want to forget about rather quite quick. How often do you see that, Jay?
Very few times, and look at this, they've overcommitted. This is an easy third. No. Booth taking it off to the side, couldn't get his touch into the net itself. You're still giggling about that. Don't blame you whatsoever. And meanwhile, the Spectre trying to pick up the pace, trying to go for a second goal.
Nice!
A first goal, excuse me. And they do get it in. 3 scored in just the first minute here.
Yeah, great little link up there between Proust and No Sense and Inertia to finish it off. That was actually a lovely little trio play. More of that, please, Sutton. Who knows? Maybe the first game's just a throwaway. They've just seen that York can whiff as well, and that might give them a little bit of confidence. No Sense here trying to connect that with Inertia, and it's not confident at all, though. Just get that ball to the side. That's when you can allow the handover, is so that you can go get boost and reset yourself. You know, there's no point you just stumbling about, flip-flopping in the center.
You can go get boost, you can go get Booth as well. Why not at this stage?
Demo that man.
Inertia And Proots into the midfield. Ace going to challenge it, leave it for Submerged. Not the most confident hit from here, but he does set it up for Ace to try and follow suit. Big miss from Booth once again. Submerged. Okay, leaving it off to the side. That's good. That's set it up, though. That's dangerous. Neither Inertia nor No Sense can act towards it. Vikings still trying to break back over to the Spectres half. Inside this corner, it will be played. Submerged challenge. Booth back in the Submerged position, but No Sense going to be able to pinch it away. And Inertia going to follow it through. No Sense again from the corner. Bounces it out. Ace going to look for his clear, and he will be able to successfully find one here. Second touch going to be found, and it's going to be way too high.
Yeah, and that was also assisted, you gotta think, by Sutton. They were able to body block it out. What a shot! Proots with the teeny tiny little pop. Now this is really clever because from a little hop like that you'd think you'd be trying to keep the ball somewhat closer to the ground, hence why the defender Submerged only went up about halfway, but instead got the nose down, was able to pop it up and over. That's actually a really clever play.
Alright, well, low in rank, high in brain power. Spectres 2-all against the Vikings here as Submerged sets things up for Ace. The Vikings immediately respond to the lead game by Spectres.
Yeah, brilliant response there. No Sense got blocked out by Submerged to be an Ace. Easy follow-up on him. Gonna look at that Spectres. They've got to start getting the internet a little bit quicker or closing down those plays more effectively. You look at that last hit from No Sense, and here, what on earth? Massive opening, the follow-up, but what a whip from Inertia! You got to sink those. It had been an equalizer.
Oh dear, Inertia not really allowing the opportunities for the Spectres side, but No Sense does turn it around. The setup from Proots this time from the corner to the backboard, and it was Ace that back-flipped. Not great for the Vikings last man, but in the end, it's a small mistakes like that that will cost you at half-time. It is 3-3.
Yeah, little mistake there. Feels backflip man in the net from Ace. I have no idea what's been going on this game too.
Oh,
this is
Ace!
just What? What is this? What happened in the off-season York?
Pacing, just getting to this man, and Ace, two big mistakes in the back line. York Vikings, 3-1 lead in game one, now 4-3 down in game two, and they had the lead for the majority of this so far. Still got a half a game to make it up, so it's not too terrible a position, but you could have evaded this entirely if you were a bit more careful. Ace again continues to challenge Submerged a bit too far forward to take the second touch on the ball and go for the shot. He will demo out Inertia. No Sense. Challenged by Booth. Prout's going to take this off to the side as he has to defend. He's the only man left. His two teammates do eventually join him on the right-hand side of that field. Ace passes down. Received again by Inertia as he puts it into the corner. Booth also blocked off by Inertia here. 100 boost stolen away by Ace. He's playing extremely recklessly right now. He's got to get something out of this, else it won't be worth it. And the block's coming through two players. Baited, good shot coming in. And it does actually roll into the back of the net. I thought that was a bit wide, but no. Booth, 4-4 now for the Vikings.
Spectre getting too closed up. Having a look at this where the two lads are overlapping, of course. Last man was from the attack downfield. The way you got to look at defense and generally just covering the entire pitch, Jay, is think of a circle around your car, or not even a circle, like horseshoe, you know, and think of the range of that being a second from any given moment. That's how much coverage you can get. So there is no point double stacking in positioning two players. You want to try and spread it on out, and that'll give you a bigger range to be able to defend and control over that space. Here you're noticing that the Spectres are grouping up in pairs way too often, and that means they're giving opening routes elsewhere on the pitch, hence why these hits of the backboard will land on the opposite side and they're easily picked on up by the Vikings. Pro tip.
A lot of room being given right now by the Vikings, but Submerged tries to cut that down. Good blocking and rotation for the Spectres as last man back. Oh no! But they're not back far enough. Vikings will eventually take that fifth away. A very high-scoring matchup here, Bacon. We've still got a minute to go. It's only a single goal lead game by the right side of the field.
That's the known goal as well.
Yeah.
That would have just been too high. Feels bad, man. Looking at that from Spectres, again, this is all nerves. You can clearly see it. Like, it's promising for that fact that I know by week 3, the Sun Spectres are going to be a completely different team, aren't they? And that is really cool to see, but right now they're still getting in their own heads, and they're their own worst enemies. Little mistakes like that cost them dearly.
Talk about Ace making mistakes. This one possibly is even more catastrophic for Proots. 2 goals up for the Vikings, and with only a little under 45 seconds to get them back. Have to hustle hard, I think, for the Spectres at this stage, and need a good kickoff and a good reactive response for the offence. But so far, it's Booth going to the backboard, looking for a second touch. Submerged. Also in the receiver, actually can't get the touch in. Ace does maintain control, however, in the midfield. Oh no! 5-6.
The Vikings deserve that. Look at it. No one is back in defense. You deserve to get scored on like that, Vikings. They fought with a 2-goal lead. They were just, they were cocky. They were overconfident, weren't they? They were like, we can just hold this downfield, that's fine.
Mate, when Digital Bacon says you deserve something, you really did deserve it.
Mate,
He's not the pessimist on this desk.
Like, there was no reason for it.
25 seconds, Spectres still need 1 more goal out here, and the Vikings getting caught up in their own positioning. Side bounce here from Proots. It will go out over to the next man. Good shot in. It will be a little bit too far wide, though. Ace comes out to dunk it down, and it will be taken away by No Sense, but 10 seconds for him in the corner to clear it back out. Find a decent defensive position alongside Booth. Off to the right-hand side. Proots going to get this redirect in. They're getting in each other's way. Inertia setting up No Sense. A block in from Ace. Proots, next man to take control alongside Inertia. That pinch goes right over to the backboard and onto the floor. Vikings going to be 2-0 up in this series, Bacon, but that was not a pretty sight, I don't want to say here.
No, that felt like a bus on square wheels right there. Just an absolute struggle, bumpy road to go along.
That is definitely the accurate description for all that there. I
wouldn't mind that in Rocket League as well, as like a new DLC car. I think, like, could you imagine how weird it'd look bumping along, like, continuously?
Oh. I fear to think what would happen if we did that.
Mutators. This is what we need.
Oh, no, definitely
Let's
don't add
enhance
that as a mutator.
Rumble.
No. Don't listen to this man. He's chatting some bad stuff. Do not do that, Psyonix, please. You're not watching, but just don't. I beg you. We beg you. But yeah, the Sutton guys are not having a good day out on the field. It looks so promising to start off with as well, Bacon.
It really does. Like I said, for me, their problem is just sheer and utter panic. They'll get one player beaten, the other two suddenly go, we've got to jump at this ball. No, you both don't have to jump at the ball. One of you does. It'll cause a reaction from the attacker, thus then the second man has a much easier time of clearing the ball away. That is just very, I'm going to say, basic defending. It's not going to work at the very highest level of Rocket League, but here, where you're going up against fellow low-level GCs to Champ 1, that will beat them on out because you can react quick enough there. The player's not fast enough where you have to predict everything, cause problems. And some right now are leaving the Vikings way too much open space, too much time to work upon.
Game 3, and of course in best of 5 rules, this means it's a reverse sweep for the Spectres. Look at Proots though with great control, blocked off by Ace, followed up by Inertia. That's also blocked for the same. Proots able to respond to the backboard, leaving it for the third man of No Sense, and he gets his moment to shine. First on the board for the Spectres, and a good defensive posted up by the Vikings, but the pressure a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, hopefully the turning point there as well. You said it just earlier, it's got to be the reverse sweep. An opening goal like that from the Spectres, hopefully it gives them the confidence to now start playing a little bit more calmer and hold onto this ball. Again, don't just throw it away. They've got the chances here. That's a great connection by Booth as well, I have to say, to get that ball to the corner. Good pressure and follow-up there from Submerged. That bump from Inertia only helps the Vikings. This is just way too much free room given from the Vikings. I criticised Sutton earlier. The Vikings have done just that. Inertia shouldn't have been allowed to run that ball.
First 60 seconds, the Spectres of course gain that control, and you can see they're just playing the ball to their own pacing here. They're playing their own game against the Vikings. The New York guys are struggling to really break into any offensive plays. One ball set up a little bit higher than that. Ace has got to do something from this corner to try and get it a bit further back off the backboard in towards Booth here for the redirect. His way out of position. Submerged also double committing. Perfect chance to find a clear. Just Proots could not get a decent shot in. It's No Sense instead, beating out one. That's on against Submerged, and he can block it off. Proots comes in again, puts it over to the box. Inertia looking for his chance. A chance available over to Proots. No, in fact, he just chips it past the last man. The Vikings crumbling in the back line.
What you'll notice here is that Ace has trouble with high balls. Sutton has figured this out as well. Where it's lingering above, he can't get the height onto it, and so it would just fly on past, and it's an easy follow-up. They picked out a man with a problem, and they're just going to try and punish that, I think, from here on out.
2-0 for the Spectres. There's no sense. Booth challenge for control.
Trying to go for it, but no, he just handed that on over. He didn't have any options in the center there, Jay. So he did gain good control, but just was not able to do anything with it. And this is a problem with York right now. They're way too spaced on out. Oh, and what a play! Booth deciding, well, if you're not going to be there for me to pass to you, I'll just pick it up and score myself.
Well, I mean, Ace set him up for the decent pass. 2 players in the way, and the
Ace
Spectres
was running that into defenders. He weren't thinking.
But Ace,
he's lucky that Booth is good enough to receive that.
I'd like to think he saw Booth and was like, you know what, he can receive this, and Booth going to get a demo in, going to allow Ace his chance. You scratch my back, I scratch your Sonny Jim. 2-2 on the board.
Nah, that's all Booth again. That demo.
You just don't like Ace for some reason.
No, I love Ace. But I'm just saying, like, the right man should get the right commendation, the right, I don't know, recognition for it.
The right accolades, I think is the word you're looking for there.
Thank you.
Ball out to the corner, Vikings stealing some boost from the back line of the Spectres. Big miss from one. Ace trying to take control. Brutes puts it over, submerged, also challenged by inertia. Easy as that, no sense, going to get beaten out by Booth coming forward once again. Saved by the Brutes. Takes control, moves it back on. Good block-offs again, passing up. Ace and Booth double committing there. Whose fault was that? I don't think it matters right now. Again, it sits back to the favourite, the Spectres. Vikings with a little bit of presence in the purple half, I should say. Brutes beats Ace coming back in. Again, good challenges from the Spectres side.
Good pressure as well coming from the Spectres. The follow-up's not coming on through. Again, caught in the defense. They're pressured for a little while, so they focused on boost instead of moving down together. Looking at the Spectres, try and focus on the small pads over the big. It'll mean they'll be able to cover up any spacing errors they have. Good call from inertia there as well, but again, defense looking so shaky from York right now. They've been allowing a lot of balls.
Inertia! Lovely!
What a play!
What a play indeed. It doesn't get much better than that.
He's a one-man army here.
Lovely off the crossbar, just behind Booth, and chips it in past the post for the good measure. Sutton Spectres 3-2 up, but when they were in the lead in that last game, Baking, we saw the Vikings manage to get themselves together and manage the quick turnaround. It's Ace now trying to get himself together with Booth, again getting the demo chance available. He's going to pass up to him though. Bumps coming in, Booth getting sick of Ace. Now Submerged goes up once again. It's Booth in to try dunk it down into Submerged off the right hand side. That ball is going to have to be controlled by him. No sense going to challenge. Ace again going to get beaten out to this corner, and no sense flick it out to the midfield. Again teed up. Again 100 boost stolen, but Booth sets up Ace here for a receiver when he gets it in, and that's the turnaround I was talking about there, Bacon. 3-3, back up to evens.
Great little passing play here. Booth, great control to lay that off. And Ace in a good position to follow up. Defender wasn't quite sure, got pulled on out. And of course, even then when he saw Ace charging towards him, he thought for a second, oh, I can still reach that. Realized, nope, way too late. And yeah, he's paid the price.
60 seconds on the clock. Submerge passing into Ace. He's got a beautiful shot. It's taken just higher the crossbar from Inertia. Booth continuing to press the issue though. Inertia can boom it back on. Submerge got to just barely take that one off the side here. 45 seconds remain. Inertia again tease it very, very close. Blocked off by Booth. Ace trying to take control. He does manage to get control past 2 of the defenders, not past the third. Midfield block off from Proots. He's got one more off the backboard, leaving it for no sense. But taken away by Submerged. Inertia teeing it up. No sense going to leave it. Try and leave it for a second. Not to be. Booth can take control with that second. Brutes challenging. Again, Ace going to have to try and come forward. Submerged lurking in that midfield to try and dribble it out, but they've just been contested so far so well by the Vikings at side. Inertia, 14 points a boost in 10 seconds on the clock. Will go so far as Ace. Blocked away from him again. He tees it past the second defender. All left to Brutes now to try and defend against him. Good play in. This is Booth's chance to strike. It gets in on the last second, and the Vikings may just deny overtime yet.
That's it. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer in the spring season if you want to see an overtime, because the York Vikings want this done and dusted in 3. Going to deny the reverse sweep. Or could the Spectres keep this ball up in the air? It is high. This is going to take a mighty task. Ace rightfully killing that to the floor. I thought the Vikings would take it 3-2, but they defied me in the best way possible. 3-0.
I mean, it's always a little bit difficult to sort of weigh up a new team, obviously. So give credit to where it's due at the end of the day. I think a lot of people would have expected the Vikings to be the team that overall made it in or made it out of this one pretty unscathed. You mentioned maybe a 3-2 for the Sutton guys. For the York guys. A 3-2 for the York guys, excuse me.
Yep.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
3-2 for the York guys, as you mentioned. I would have leaned more closer to a 3-1, to be honest. But I feel like the Sutton guys, they've showed a lot of potential, especially when it comes to exploiting the mistakes, because obviously, that York side, they weren't as perfect as they would have liked it to be. No. So seeing them sort of get punished and severely limited at certain points, the Sutton guys had a couple of decent leads above the York Vikings, and well, that didn't quite end up working out for them in the end. The Vikings were just a little bit too powerful. I think their synergy was just a little bit, more on point.
Yeah, for me, when I was looking at these teams, I thought Sutton were going to be that sort of side that will come in, got a point to prove as they're the new dogs. And I was very close. That was an interesting series, and I've just had a little message from Booth saying that was a bit harder than we thought. So there we go. Even they underestimated Sutton. But this right now is going to be so interesting because, like I said, the Spectres, I'm really intrigued at what they can do, because we saw throughout the series how they got better. Throughout league play, who knows? They could come out top 4 in their group and make it on through to the playoffs.
Well, give me a couple of talking points for the Spectres then. When we talk about what they can improve, we obviously give as many pointers as we can as to how you can improve and how the players can improve. What do you think is the one key thing they need to work on going into next week?
So I picked it up in game, but that's spacing. I described about the whole horseshoe around your car of where you can reach. Make sure that those imaginary little bubbles of where you can reach within 1 second do not overlap. So quite often we saw a lot of the Sutton Spectres players near enough right next to each other on the pitch. Spread that on out. Make it so that you sort of have this imaginary line of one person over on the wall, one person in the centre, one over the far right. Of course, that doesn't always apply because you can have 2 up front and then 1 back. But you've got to try and think of like a triangle where everyone's equally spaced out so that they're not covering the same area. It means you can gain the most space on the pitch and deny the most progression from teams like York, who have some good opportunities just near enough bang that ball the entire way of the pitch, and you'll be able to intercept that and then of course retreat back effectively. Because quite often we saw from Sutton, when they were retreating, there was 2 players right next to each other. Only one of those 2 players can get the boost, and that means the second one is just basically left behind downfield.
Well, there it is for the York Vikings versus the Sutton side. Let's take a look at our second game of the day here, our versus screen, as we are ready to watch the Portsmouth Pirates versus the Preston Invincibles. All the P's today, Bacon.
Yep. I guess production didn't particularly like us. But we're having a pleasant time of it anyway, Jay, as Wiz, Dino and Bill from Portsmouth Pirates are going to be taking on Cornelius, Tyler and Sporty from the Preston Invincibles. And these are 2 teams that I have no clue about, to be honest. That is the beauty of Arena Clash. We know their ranks.
Right. Last season, you were always the optimist. You were always the really nice one of the 2 of us, and I was the really blunt guy here. But yeah, I mean, in fairness, I don't know these guys either. The best we have is our little sheet of stats telling us exactly the ranks right here. And so far, we've got a general sort of plat sort of champ sort of ranking from the Preston side, and over on Portsmouth, it's more like a champ diamond area. So,
I was going to say Portsmouth tends to have a very solid performance and showing. Preston last season weren't really anything to write home about. So coming into this one, I'm just going to go with history on Portsmouth Pirates, but it's different players. So what history are you talking about? It's an arena.
It's extremely difficult sort of thing to sort of press up against. The hope is that obviously the Portsmouth sort of area gives us a few more sort of talented players. Obviously, this is sort of going to be the pace setter. I feel like for these 2 teams, the opportunity to set themselves up to go forward and potentially have a good season ahead of them. But the only thing we have to go on is those particular statistics and whether or not they'll be able to hold their own. So I don't want to ask you for a prediction.
Yeah, let's not do predictions for this one. We've already been pretty darn
I feel
blunt and honest
like
about
I do need
it.
to ask you something as well.
I will
What are you hoping to see?
What I'm hoping to see, blimey, that's a hard one, because when we look at these two teams, there's quite a bit of a difference, especially in Preston, of skill levels. So with Preston, they've got a Champ 2, is it? And 2 Plats. So I'm hoping that Champ isn't just going to try and like solo the show. If he does, I want him to solo in defense and allow the 2 Plats to try and like get the goals, so that basically they've got a stronger defense, keep it to, you know, they're only going to concede 1 or 2, and hopefully the Plats can work together. Maybe just tell them, go demo. Just go ahead and demo. The other one will be able to walk in. Go with some very simple, straightforward strats. On the opposite side of Portsmouth, where they're all very similar in rank, you know, I think it's Diamond 2, Diamond 3, and the Champ 1. I'm hoping that they get a lot more synergy, because they're close ranks together. They should have much more similar mechanical skills. So I'm hoping there's a little bit more trust there. There's going to be more strats linked to passing, and trying to use those infield passes especially to then beat out the defense, because like I said, I reckon they'll probably go with a solo defender on the Preston side, who's just going to be stonking net essentially. So try and use those infield passes, should beat that last man quite easily. And it's all going to come down to weird little nuanced strategies, which we don't get to see quite often.
I think conflicting play styles will certainly be coming up to play as the game is about ready to go live here between the Portsmouth and Preston arenas. Again, I don't really want to press you for a prediction, but like, you know, if you had to go off of what little we have,
Portsmouth, just from history, big uni there. They always bring forward some good players in all the different arena clashes, so it's got to be Portsmouth.
Ooh, but Preston are going to start
All
things
right,
off
Preston,
on the
don't
right
deny me
foot.
too quickly, okay?
Backboard players coming in, and actually they're going to score the first. The pressure working out for the Invincibles as they draw first blood here in our best of 5.
Yeah, cast a shot, play game. Pretty simple. Twitch chat knows it. 1-0 from an unnamed man. Just Preston Invincibles. 14 was that?
I think so, yeah.
Or 13?
It's 14.
13 and 14.
It's 14.
That's not going to make life difficult at all. is it?
Yep, absolutely not. Bill from the corner out to the midfield and trying to find someone to work with out here. The Pirates pressing forward to their own right as Portsmouth 1 sets this up. Preston back over from the corner here. Backboard again. It's another opportunity for the goal from the Pirates side. And I'm going to try and back pass here. Bill comes in out of nowhere to the backboard looking for his second touch redirect. And the Invincibles will still hold the line. Great defense is being held out by the blue side of the field. But you can see they are still lurking up here in the box. A couple of missed touches coming in from the Pirates, though, unable to score their return.
I'm so confused right now. Where were the Pirates? There was just Portsmouth 1 downfield, and the other 2, I don't know. They were just having tea and crumpets back at home. It was just a very weird pressure put on. I am majorly confused. Good
Crumpets
demo
are
there,
nice. Crumpets are always nice. Don't diss the crumpets.
I'm praying Maron crumpets. If they're there, I'll take them. Otherwise, I don't.
You got to
particularly
just
care.
slather them with butter. It's awesome.
Here's one for you: regular butter or olive butter.
Oh, regular butter, easy.
Nah, you're wrong. Olive butter is pristine. Even our producer's an olive butter guy. Jay, you lose here. 2 versus 1. And currently on the scoreboard, 1-0 still to the Invincibles. Again, Portsmouth, like I pointed out earlier, not really being able to link up, which we expected from that disparity in skill levels, but it's a interesting. Actually, no, Portsmouth was the one closest together, so what are they doing? You would imagine these were 3 mates turning up, and here they seem like strangers to one another.
Oh, strangers. Strange to the game, it seems. Still yet to score, and they're being pressured still by the Invincible squad in that midfield. It will be Wiz to take it away. Portsmouth side just pass back and forth between each other. Wiz are going to get shoved a little bit out of position, and Invincibles continue up their pressure here. The Portsmouth Pirates just desperately struggling to try and get something out of here. Eventually, the quick clear away will come out, but you can see Conios is ready to respond to it. Booming back up, passing up to his teammate, and take it away for the most part here, but the Preston side just keeping their pressure up going. Another good shot coming in from Preston 13. Wiz will be able to deny, but even so, the shot count is definitely favouring the blue side of the court.
Been doing a little bit of field side research here, Jay.
Okay.
And I can confirm that Portsmouth 1 is Dino.
Dino. All right.
Dino.
Hopefully we can get his name sorted next time around. But Dino. so far pushed up in the corner, harassing the back line of the Preston, the Preston Invincibles. Unable to set anything up though. Again, the team play just not quite there. Wid's going to go for a good shot though. The Pirates will strike back at long last. It took a very long time to get that goal in though, mate.
That profile pic is giving me nightmares. I mean, it is a wizard of some sort, I guess. Not a full-on wizard, more of an apprentice with that, because it wasn't the most swish and flick of goals. It was pretty much a weird, awkward bouncer. Liking the idea coming out from Preston there, but yeah, it's just been a very interesting game. Both of these two teams, again, don't have a massive amount of experience from them, and so they're learning as they go. They are adapting. They are overcoming, and right now, they are equalised at 1-1.
I've got that image burnt in my head now that you pointed it out, Bacon.
Just wait for Wiz to score once again.
I'm not looking forward to it. Right now, nothing is coming through from the Pirates, but Wiz does have control. Demo in against the Preston side. Bill goes up, right on. Wiz a chance. He'll take it off to the side, and unfortunately, his teammates will not be able to score against it here. The Portsmouth side, still 60 seconds. They have managed an equaliser at this moment in time, but unable to find the breakaway as Panios moves forward with his control. Sideboard again. Preston press the issue here. Ball goes up for Preston 13. Conyo's going to look for his way in. Invincibles control out at the midfield, beating out Wiz. Coming back in against the next, but just time is ticking here, and neither team yet to score. Maybe that overtime might come in a lot earlier in the season than you were expecting, but the Invincibles continuing up with the midfield control and the pressure out of that corner. Unable to break away from the Pirates as Wiz moves in alongside Bill to try and find the clear away. Wiz up into the corner, trying to maintain his boost and maintain his position close to the ground. Good pinch away by the Invincible side, so right back over to the purple half. Eventually cleared out by the Pirates. This ball goes up. Wiz going to try and look for his way back over to the right-hand side in the midfield. 20 points of boost, does not opt to go for the 100. Instead, just touches that ball, and then he's going to leave it for a teammate to come forward, passing back inwards, and it's a good goal coming through. The Pirates 2-1 up with just 5 seconds, all thanks to Dino.
Yeah, Dino doing great there. Wiz, nice gentle pass over. Yes, Bill tried to get in the picture there. Of course, a nice little souvenir. But that's when desperation sticks in. You've got that opportunity at 5 seconds left. Everyone trying to cover as much ground as they can. Wiz right now has kept that ball high. Shouldn't be able to get close enough for another touch here. Preston are doing quite good to keep it in the air. They've got to keep their chances alive, but Bill's going to get a touch, but not a goal. Portsmouth Pirates will take game 1 of this best of 5.
I mean, credit to the block there from the Preston side, because it was almost going to be a 2-goal lead. But yeah, barely a victory for the Pirates. I mean, it looked quite shaky throughout the majority of that one, I want to say, Bacon.
We're quite interesting, because realistically, both teams played the opposite of what I expected. They played the strats I expected from each other, which is real odd, because Portsmouth were always solo attacking up. Generally, Wiz noticed that of how he's just going downfield on his own and trying to set something up, and then one of the other two will maybe be there. Who knows? Depends. If they're still drinking tea and eating crumpets. But on the opposite end with Preston, they were quite aggressive on that ball, weren't they? They were near enough just charging on in like wild bulls.
Well, you saw how heavily they pressured up the Preston side. You know how much they were pushed up into that purple half. How much they didn't really want to leave any room to breathe for the Portsmouth boys. You know, so many shots coming through, little opportunities to break past the midfield line for Portsmouth, and as a result, the Pirates, especially in the early game, just didn't know how to deal with the Invincible side. It was only until Wiz finally found that breakaway and found that one goal that things started to sort of turn around there. But even after that point, it was such a struggle that I am a little bit concerned about how well this team play will work out for them, because, as you mentioned, they basically felt like they had none of it almost.
Yeah, we'll have to see as we go on into game 2 if anything's going to change up. I don't expect a massive change from Preston. They just need to work on a little bit of shot accuracy, essentially, and try and create more opportunities rather than just going in for those 50-50s. Off of the Pirates side, I want to see them get more aggressive. I think they were too reserved.
Well, reservations are booked in. Let's see whether Game 2 will change the pace for the Invincibles or the Pirates. Here we go. It's Preston again with the pressure inside that corner. The Pirates try and find an early breakaway or two. Comios miss out. It's a chance. Double commit right there. Wiz there with a decent shot. It's right on the line, and Bill couldn't respond to it either. Now a breakaway comes out, and it looks like Invincibles might find that opening, but no, the bumps coming out from the Portsmouth boys keeps up control here in the purple half. But again, the early game still favouring the Invincibles as they have the pressure, they have the ball control, and they have the presence in the purple half. Good shot. Okay. Conio's gifted an opener for his team.
Yeah, well done there. Good sight to see that downfield. But I called it earlier with York. That is deserved. Once again, no one back home, especially when you're on the midfield. You can understand an open net like that at this level when it's everyone's down in your opponent's half. But when you're on the midfield, that does not need to happen. Why are you so spread out in that manner?
Pirates pressing forward here, trying to dig themselves out of the hole, but another shot comes in, and this time there were two players in the net and on the backboard. 2-0 for the Invincibles, only 60 seconds in. Things are falling apart.
Yeah, this is so odd. Great bang over here, we have to say, from Preston 13. Like that was a work of art in its own right, straight up into the top left corner. But what has happened in that slight little break? Did they go get a sub on or something and they're playing on the same account? Who knows? But
I hope not.
It's a massive change up in just Frosty not on the ball as such, but just on net now.
2-0, and again, Preston attacked by the Pirates side, but the defensive holds true with a lack of pressure coming through from the Pirates. Good block from Preston 14, takes it to the midfield, and Wiz to Bill. Very nice shot coming through. Conio's there to hold the defense as the wraparound rotations coming in. The Preston Invincibles will keep themselves in the backline, playing much more passive now that they've got a 2-goal lead. Again, the Pirates off to the left and right hand side of the net. No real shots coming into the centre. All centre up balls in the centre line. It's Miz. To Preston 14, good challenge again, sets this ball up high, but no one there to attack here from the Pirates. So I feel like the communications aren't quite there to say, hey, I can go up for this ball, hey, I can set this up over to from the corner for you. A lot of these purposeful sort of like game plans are not quite working to their fullest extent. That being said, the Bill does score one, so in the end, just kind of wearing down the Invincibles in the same sort of way how the Pirates had, you know, the majority of pressure against their own backboard. They're going to try and return the favour.
Double commit was the major problem here, and Konios went off to get boost, thinking that, you know, he's got two friends there. He could go off and grab that corner boost and then return in time, which you'd expect most of the time you can, but that is why those double commits are so killer and you can't do them. It's a harsh goal, but it's one that Preston will have to take on in. First, of course, up on the board for the Pirates, as they're going to be looking for a second. They've got the ball down in their opponent's half, but they're struggling to keep control of it.
2.5 minutes left to go to gain some sort of control and gain some sort of backup for the Pirates side. It's returned from their half over to Konios now. Beating out two. Bill forced to take control. No one's far enough for the Invincibles to try and take advantage of the position that their teammate has brought them here. Preston 14 gets passed up towards, pack passes to Preston 13. The corner is as far as they will take it here. Now Wiz moving up with his own control out from the corner. 15 with 3 points of boost. Bill challenging with 55. Now from the backboard, looking for his shot in. Preston will be able to defend against it here. Konios 20 points challenging on the next man to come forward. Wiz is the midfield control, and both teams just playing touch and go at the moment here between the Invincibles and the Pirates. Tee up from Bill will only go so far with it. It's just a quick taken away from the side of the Invincibles net.
Yeah, you can see both teams where things have gotten a little bit awkward, aren't being able to get any goals. And it's coming down a lot here to the Invincibles locking down their net and focusing on defense, and the Pirates just not having the capability to break that. So where there's a couple of mistakes in the hit, it's becoming a little bit awkward and things look a little bit scrappy. Ideas are still coming out there. Wiz just needed to get a second jump. I think he actually used 2 jumps to take off, and just, you know, a little misclick, another one from him there. And it is showing that they've got the right ideas, Pirates here, but they just cannot execute correctly. And the Invincibles are double committing still to this ball, and it's not getting punished.
Good shot in from Wiz, going to be a bit too far wide, and the Invincibles just maintaining control of the ball. Find a little bit of pressure into that purple half, and Pirates caught in rotation. Konios almost slips it underneath Wiz in this case. The Again, it's turned away by the likes of Dino. Preston 14, backboard. It's set up for Bill. Again, it's going to get missed out by his teammates. And that one little touch takes away the potential for a 3-1 scoreline. But the Invincibles need to do more than just try and see if they can score one. They'll need to try and defend against their own, because, again, the Pirates ramping up the pressure. 30 seconds left. Scanio's moves in from that corner. Bounce out again, coming through. Wiz sets it perfectly up, but Bill unable to get the shots in. The Preston side are maintaining control as they block every single close shot. With just 15 seconds to go, the Pirates will really be pressured to find something here, at least to get to the overtime, as Bill off to the sideboard. 2 players off to the right could open up an opportunity. 3 players pushed up too far forward for the Pirates. They're struggling to maintain control and maintain their position. It looks like the Invincibles might just in another game away. Ball to the backboard. It looks like they've got it on the floor. Invincibles will take one back against the Pirates.
Yeah, Portsmouth Pirates are forbidden from getting an equaliser and sending us to overtime there on Forbidden Temple. As much as they tried, Jay, you got to think, those first 2 goals from Preston were scored in the first minute. And then just after that, it was just lock it down, bunker up, and don't let anyone pass. They did get one up through Portsmouth, but that second one was nowhere to be found.
So I'm not sure whether I like that style, though, because it assumes a level of safety which you don't always have in those particular cases. And you saw a couple of moments where it did get a little bit hairy for Preston, and Portsmouth almost scored a goal back for their side. So it's like, how much stock do you really have to take in those sort of plays and those sort of defensive styles, especially in this case where it's not always as confident as Preston would have liked it to be.
See, for me, I feel like at this level of play, it's easier to go all into defense or all into attack. So by having that 2-goal lead, you have that buffer net of 1 goal. Yes, you're right. You're buying out time if they do score that, and then you go, okay, we need to now move back into, working the whole field as normal. Then what if they get another goal? And it's all semantics, really, isn't it? And it's a hard one, but the strategy from Preston seemed to work. The biggest problem is actually just Portsmouth themselves. They're not attacking correctly, are they? And so it was quite easy to defend and hold off for so long from Preston. I wonder if Preston are going to do it again in Portsmouth. I hope they've learnt their lesson.
We'll find out whether they have, as Game 3 is ready to go live very quickly here between the Pirates and the Invincibles. The blessings of Bob's Ramen, see who can take the match points. Bill and Wiz off and over to the defensive as the Invincibles do find that first shot out on the purple half. Wiz again going to contest, and the Pirates are really bringing the fight back to the Invincibles early on in these games. Tee off over to Wiz from Dino. Backboard plays though, no one's in the net. Bill's caught off guard, it's bounced up and a bit too high from Preston 13. And 14 couldn't swing out and get himself any sort of recovery play. Conios is there to the sideboard. A good shot off the backboard taken away by the Pirates squad. The Invincibles again going so close to getting themselves some sort of a decent start out here, and they have got the majority of the pressure again in the early game, but this time the Pirates are not going to allow them an early goal.
Pirates are struggling to get any clears going. Wiz right now can send it, but it's so shallow. Another ball on in. Preston 14 not being able to find a teammate, so that will be linked to the corner, but he chases around, he hounds that ball and gets a demo for it. Right now, again, no one wants to commit up second. It means that rotations are a little bit wobbly, they're a little too slow, but that was not slow at all. 13 receiving finally a good pass, but from the midfield, so unconventional.
This shot in, I think, Wiz was a bit too far forward, couldn't get high enough in time and didn't react in time to recover the situation. 1 on the board for the Invincibles. Again, good challenges out on the kickoff from the Pirates side, but no one can get into that blue half to get the initial shot advantage. Instead, Preston 14 with his shot in this game. Preston 13 contesting wrap around to hold this ball away from Pirates' control. Looking for a touch in because of a bit of an early flick, and in the end, the Pirates have so much pressure out there that he couldn't beat any one of those players to the ball. Bill. Backboard alongside Wiz. Wiz tees it up, going for a solo play at point blank. Also with Bill in position to swing out and get the recovery shot. But again, no goals being scored by the Pirates here.
No. And again, another problem of the Invincibles just being able to capitalise on a lot of mistakes. That last goal again, they pulled out the Portsmouth side. Noticing this again is so scrappy. Preston 14 not being able to get a touch on the ball, and he's going to be hurting himself for that because it was a possibility. Good follow-up from Bill, though, but not being able to make anything of it. Teammates need to be ready for the pounce, because right now, they're just too spread out. The analogy I used earlier about making sure you got enough space, well, of course, you don't want a great space between your coverage areas, because otherwise, that then creates an opening path, normally straight to net down center. Good pass-up play there, but not a finish.
No response there from, I believe that was Wiz going in for the shot. It's returned back over to his half. He can't get a good touch in on the ball, so Invincibles again will have some opportunities going their way. That clear out off the post, and Bill with the perfect opening here just was not accurate enough. The Invincibles gifted a little bit of luck in this one, I guess. And at the 2-minute marker, it will still only be 1-0 up, so it's not a safe lead just yet. And Portsmouth, they want to change this as Dino goes in for a double touch, misses his second. And Preston 14 now with a breakaway, challenged by Bill, returning it over to Dino. A good pinch in from the Preston side, though, high off the backboard. Conios tees it off for a teammate, but no one is in the centre line to receive this.
Interesting here, because you can see the ideas to really close it on down. Reminiscent from game 1 from Preston, where they're going in for those 50-50s. They're trying to charge the ball with solo plays, and it's just not working. Portsmouth can handle that. They just can't handle when these long shots get sent downfield, and then the follow-ups. Good chance there for Conios, but unfortunately the angles did get closed out, and he did all he could by putting it off to the side.
Yeah, if he was off to the right-hand side shooting to the left, he may have been able to get that in, but in the end the Pirates' position was just too good for this. Meanwhile, backboard Bill with an opportunity. Wiz also misses. Shot in from Dino will try and recover the situation, but again, the Pirates gifting a little bit of luck, I should say, to the Invincible side, as they're just unable to score that equaliser. Still 1-0 as we approach the final 45 seconds. Tioff's coming into the backboard. Dino with a big old miss, and again the Invincibles just playing pressure game, passing back and forth between each other. Wiz with a bit of a back pass alongside Bill. He double commits. Backboard play in from Wiz, and he gets it 1-1 back in. The Pirates will be able to equalise, and we can see Mr. Bean is absolutely loving it. That picture is something else, I swear.
Is a thing of nightmares. Right there. Not even hugging on to your teddy will help on that one.
Oh,
30 seconds. Oh! Now that is a quick redemption, and Portsmouth Pirates are going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, geez. That was a quick response. Very quick indeed. The Wiz will be really disappointed about that, because he worked so hard alongside the double commit from Bill that almost cost him the play.
The
And
problem
now,
is...
oh, look at this. Just saved by Bill there, Bacon.
The problem is a goal like that is a mistake in defense and the kickoff, arguably, from Portsmouth. Like, Preston just... because they're not doing any fast kickoffs, they're not actively getting so quick to the ball that they're beating their opponents, and they're not trying to force any rebounds. It is just Portsmouth Pirates with very, very minor mistakes. And...
What?
Wait for it. Hey.
What happened to the defense there, though? All three players on the left-hand side, I see them, are caught up on the backboard. Oh, dear. Their shot has just turned it all around. 2-2 with 3 seconds to go here, Bacon. The kickoff goal, less than likely. I say that, though. Off the backboard, too high. Second player swinging in. Wiz takes it away. Conio's left out way too far, leaving it for overtime in this game 3.
Conio seemed like he was still back at net, you know, like he was just accepting the OT and just put his controller down or something, maybe get a drink. But he can't be doing that at all here in overtime. Oh, that was close. I was a little bit worried, because loose balls like that can be devastating.
Wiz and Bill stepping up the pacing here. Wiz to the ceiling and the corner. Preston. Players up from 13 and 14. Good pinch in. And Dino will try block it off. A swing out, and the Invincibles controlling inside this corner. Bill also contesting for it. Trying to get it inside the box desperately for the Invincibles side. They're on a majority of pressure play here.
So they want this ball out of their own half, Jay. Like, they just keep hitting it straight into the Invincibles, really weakly as well. Like, there's no wonder they're not building up anything there.
Bill dunked down. Almost own goal being scored right there to a lesser extent. Wiz, a light touch in again, sets it up for the Invincibles like you mentioned before. Bill misses! Okay, just saved by Dino there, the Pirates. Finally, they find a good clear. Here's Wiz's chance up against one of Konio's. He does tee this one up. Here's a chance for Dino to strike. He's unable to get the job done. Wiz will continue to move forward inside the midfield. Bill's going to take it. Leave it out for Konio's on the defensive. It's a very slow ball, so it could be easily defended against. Wiz will bounce into the centre line, but he just can't go for any sort of shots here. Eventually he does find one, and he catches the Invincible side off guard. So Pirates, 1:33 on the clock in overtime, and they will take 2-1 up in the series on match points.
Wiz there, lingering in the centre. Normally, after that hit into the corner, you'd retreat the whole way back to net. But no, Wiz sticks around, he lingers, and he gets the reward. What a follow-up from him. And it just shows, again, Preston, well, only had one man back in defence at that point. So he couldn't get a follow-up save.
Yeah, and that causes obviously a big old mistake, a big old couple of issues, I think, for the Preston Invincibles, because they're so confident in the early parts of these games, but they're just unable to find those finishes there. Pirates 2-1 up now, and I guess probably your prediction of going with the familiarity of the Pirates name is certainly something to something a little strategy to take note of, I guess, of a prediction game.
It was a good guess. That's pretty much all it was, right? I mean, we're being frank. We're honest casters. We're not like those, I don't know, biased, whatever Twitch chat calls them.
I would make a joke about the Gears casters, but I'm not going to go there.
The Gears casters knew what was coming. They had good knowledge of those teams today. But unfortunately for us, we're coming in fresh, and it does mean that later on down the line, in later weeks, we can, identify these two teams and how they go up against other teams, and we'll go, we saw Preston and how they played. We know how they'll play against Bristol, for example. But here, we're looking at the two. So far, Pirates are the better players, but Preston's the better team.
Yeah, I have to say, I have to agree on that one, because you're seeing very few team plays coming out from that Pirate side versus Preston. There's a reason they have all that pressure, because every single player seems to know exactly where they are and when to strike, how exactly to keep the offensive going. And that pressure can get to the Pirate side. It's what's allowed that game victory to come in for the Invincibles. That's what's allowed this kickoff, a big open chance, a shot that just goes a bit too wide, and that's case in point right there. Team play to open things up with the kickoff, the dribble play, they set up to the pass, but unable to finish the job here from the Invincibles.
Yeah, Wiz finally getting that ball away, but the follow-up is not there. I don't know how he didn't predict that. That's left this opening. Preston 13 should have called 14 in for that and go for a little pass play, tee it up for him. And again, these are the little nuances that you will find in lower competition play, where communication is the key thing missing, because these guys are probably sitting next to each other in the arena and not talking. There is a massive tool they have there, and it's just not on their belt. Try and fix that, and that's to both teams. Try and fix that, and hopefully they'll just go to incredible things.
Portsmouth passing between each other. Good setup from Wiz. We'll go a bit wide. Conio's there with a save and a booming clear that will have to be blocked off by Dino. Follow up, however, going in for the shot, and Bill off the backboard already there for the swing. As Wiz now chasing this one off the ceiling, and he will be beaten out to the ball here by Preston 13. Dino challenged by Conio's only man left. Okay. Well, another thing to note about the Pirates is, yes, they're better individuals, and, well, they're also the most committed individuals. No one there to back up Dino on the defense.
Error 404, defense not found, as the first goal goes to the Preston Invincibles in their little redemption arc now. They're aiming, they're gunning. They've got their sights on a game 5. But remember, Jay, they've still got 3:35 left on that clock. They've got to see it out. It's only one goal. They can't go hyper defensive like in the past here once again, because look at that. Portsmouth are ready to equalise.
A little bit light on that finishing touch from, I think it was Bill, the one that came in with a shot overall. Invincibles starved of boost here. The Portsmouth Pirates have taken the two back 100s as far away from the blue side as possible. Bill puts this one up, sets it up for Wiz. Good block off again can come through from the Invincibles side as Preston wrap around and look in for the midfield control. Good tilt from Preston 13, but the ball a little bit too light on the touch means that Bill swing out, take control. That ball setup not looking good, but fortunately for the Preston side, they are able to adjust against it, and Pirates are not in a position to deny. Okay, Wiz. 1-1, a ceiling shot, nicely done, pinching it off the floor. And we're back in at evens.
Yeah, that definitely was magical. Great follow-up on the hit. Equalizer to boot. And now, Pirates, more of that. And the problem with the Pirates is that it has all been the Wiz show. Bill has been fine in the midfield, but I feel like he's just got to commit downfield a little bit more. He needs to have a little bit of confidence in himself. Portsmouth won there as well. You can see he can go for those challenges, but he does not want to be around the mid to finish them off. They've got to have a little bit more oomph, this Pirate side. They actually need to be, you know, savage Pirates instead of, I don't know, silly, scared sailors.
The Invincibles, meanwhile, looking pretty invincible for the most part. Not quite flawless, though. You can see the wraparounds coming through again, the passing plays and dribble plays coming out. Now that they're equal on the scoreboard, they're picking up the pace and trying to beat out the Pirates in any way they can. Good shots coming in, backboard plays taken away by Wiz and Dino, wrapping around with not a lot of boost, I should say, left to his name. Block off into the midfield. Preston 14 can't quite receive it here. Good challenges again from the Pirates. We've blocked off by two more of the defensive of the blue side. Big commits coming out, and they're not quite as confident. Conios does follow suit and finally clear as far as the midfield line. But Wiz wrapping up. Here comes Preston 13, passing into Conios' caught in rotation, as is Preston 14 already in the defensive area. So the Invincibles, two players beaten. Wiz tees this one up. Bill with the final finishing shot. He comes in from the air, and it will be blocked by a rotating Invincibles player.
Yeah, and a good little pop out there as Preston 14 trying to run it. He's stolen boost as well. That's a perfect tee up to centre. But no one there to receive. 13 down to mid again. But in that case, you don't want to go to centre. You want to keep it to the corner because you've just handed the ball on over. It's all led to scenes like this. And Preston
the demo.
hold on by the skin of their teeth. They do get the ball downfield. That is a decent attempt. But unfortunately, you're not going to get a goal with a weak hit like that when there are two defenders back.
Finishing just not quite there for the Invincibles side, even though they had a perfect opportunity with a demo in and a big clear to open space. Now 40 seconds on the clock to find that space between the two score lines. 1-1, still on the board, looking for overtime. Bill's trying to change that triple commit from the Invincibles back in the back line. Conio trying to find his way out. 16 points to boost to his name. Bounce to the centre, bumps coming through, gives him a bit momentum to try and swing out. He's got it past them all. The further boost coming in from the Portsmouth Pirates caught in rotation. And an open net available for Bill. Tees it off, taken away by Preston 13 and into the corner. He will continue to control, beating out the first of Wiz. Trying to beat the second of Dino. Back past Bill, will take it away from the striker. Now Wiz coming in, denied by Conios of his own right. Big shot onto an open net. It's 2-1 on the board.
Tons and tons of pressure finally being applied by the Pirates, and you can see this is what we've wanted all along, Jay. Just keep on pushing that envelope, keep on pressing it, and you will finally get a goal. 3 seconds left. The ball will bounce up into the air. Invincibles do need to get this away, but that is sunk. Pirates are going to be going home with the W in a 3-1 fashion.
Invincibles, not quite as invincible as they would have hoped it to be here, Bacon, but...
Are we going to have to rename that arena now?
Yeah, possibly.
Bit
just
awkward.
Maybe just a little bit. I might have to give them a quick phone call. But do you know what? Here's the thing, right? It is a clash of styles, as you mentioned before the game. You know, you were taking a look at deciding who's going to have the team play, who's going to have the firepower, and it is, as you say, you know, in the end, the firepower this time they trumped out the team play because for a lot of that matchup, it was very close. Only a single goal separating the two different teams. Plenty of overtime potential opportunities right there, and in the end, it came down to the case that the Pirates were just slightly more competent players, even though at many points the Invincibles very easily had control just due to the pressure and the communication and the team play that they all had together.
And it comes down to the whole saying of like training trumps talent when it really needs. But unfortunately, as time went on there, the Pirates did learn. They evolved as a team. They were working together. And this is going to be a team that's got to learn that teamwork as they go on in the season. They will get stronger. But however, we look at the Invincibles, I expect this team to maybe head into the arena a couple nights of the week and try and improve as they go on. Work on those mechanics, get up those ranks, and learn as a group. Like we said, they have got a member, I'm just literally going to steal your little tablet here. Who was it? It was Sporty there, sorry, who is a champ 3. Now, the other two, being those lower platinums, he can just go in, okay, these are the mechanical tricks. This is how you half flip to be able to get back quicker. Here's an effect way how to aerial, and impart that knowledge onto the other two. And you could see the Preston Invincibles maybe be that sort of shadow wildcard team to nick that 4th spot later on down league play.
Well, plenty of growth potential, I want to say, for that Preston side, and certainly a team you want to keep your eyes on as the table evolves over the course of the season. And yes, there is plenty of season to come. We are just in week 1 that's finished up here on the Belong Arena Clash. Some fun games, I want to say, Bacon, actually. I think, considering the fact that we knew only so much about some of the teams coming in today, I think they've shown a lot of potential, a lot of impression, I think, most of all.
Yeah, definitely for me, like we said, Sutton. The Spectres are one that I think I might become a little bit of a fan of after that performance there today. Really, really close up against York. But of course, we've got many other teams to watch, and we'll see them in the weeks to come.
Indeed, we will. That's next Tuesday at 8 to 8:30 p.m. GMT. So make sure you're following the Belong Arenas channel, and make sure you're keeping up with all the social medias to make sure you are notified of when we go live with that Rocket League Arena Clash action next week. I believe Overwatch is still on tomorrow. If I recall correctly?
Should be.
Indeed,
Yep,
it is.
6:30.
Yes, so our Overwatch boys and girls will be happy to take you through all that Arena Clash action for tomorrow's stuff. But for today, for Rocket League and for Gears 5, we are all done. Thank you very much for joining us here. I've been the Eternal J. This has been Digital Bacon, and on behalf of all the production staff and the commentators for Gears 5 earlier on this evening, I want to thank you very much for joining us here, and we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Arena Clash action.